back as we fill your mind with spooky true crime stories of the deranged, unhinged, and absolute pure evil murders that will blow your mind. Some places we will visit to show you around and educate you on the history. Other times we will bring you to the paranormal because the dead never lie silent for too long.
Be the last time anybody sees us alive.
I don't know where she has us, but we're gonna get fucking killed.
Hello?
Gina, there is a beehive over there. Do you see that in the hole?
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Yeah, welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Dan. Hi,
Hi.
Maggie.
Hi.
Welcome. We have guests today.
Yes, and we're in a different studio today.
Yeah.
We know.
Different.
Dan's studio.
We're in
Yeah.
Dance
Rare From
Studio,
Radio.
Rare From Radio. Shout out to Rare From Radio. Yay.
Yay!
Before we start, you need to go follow, subscribe, like, all that business. Rare From Radio on YouTube, on Instagram.
When did you
what else we
guys
got?
start your show?
October 6th, 2022.
Okay, in 1 year you have
1 year.
doubled your viewership as ours. Doubled. I'm very proud of you. Honestly, you guys just passed a milestone. We're very, very excited for you.
But I have to say, we couldn't have done it without you guys.
Obviously,
Yes,
but
I mean,
still, we're very happy for you.
obviously.
Yes, we
That's
have
very exciting.
so much help. We've
Yes.
had so much help. We shout you guys out like literally almost every single episode.
So at
No,
least
I
they know.
watched-
Yeah.
'Cause
You're
it-
like, yes.
Because we
I-
couldn't. Like, I mean, that's
I skim
the,
each episode waiting for you to reference us. There it is. Shut it off. Okay.
You know what, though? We got a view.
But I only give a like if you mention.
Rare From. Oh, okay.
In the beginning, we're like, welcome to 50 States of Madness. Edited by Rare Form Radio. Music intro by.
Yeah, your name's in the credits.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the intro and the outro music is by this one right here.
Thank you.
Oh, it
thank
is?
You.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's your dad.
No.
That's him talking.
That's him talking.
But the music is
the
Dan.
music.
The music's down. Yeah.
Yep, the music is down.
Wow.
And he was our first Patreon, too.
Yes.
That's for me.
Wow.
And I was Rare From Radio's first Patreon.
Yes. There
That's
we
for
go.
you. That's for you. Okay, is this Love Fest over yet?
Right.
Can we get
I
into
know.
it?
You know.
I know. So today we're going to do a little bit of a different kind of episode. We had a couple people reach out and asked if we had seen the series Surviving Death. And so I had not, but I watched it. I watched the episodes so we had Jenna, and then I forgot who else had asked about it. And-
Jenna, or friend Jenna?
Yes,
Jenna.
So we had some people ask us, and Heidi was my first person. I was like, oh my God, we have to have Heidi on this episode. Because in past episodes, we've talked about how you and I have had like the same dream. You had one about your ex or your late husband. I had one about my dad that were super, super similar. And so after watching it, Jenna had texted us because there's a bunch of us from like Dark Matter days. There's a bunch of us girls in a group message, and so we always message back and forth. And she had sent, well, I'm gonna actually call her. She's gonna talk to us, and so is Kim.
We can sync you to the machine.
Yeah,
here and have
from
it-
From Radio.
Great.
Kim, your guy. She's our Patreon too.
Nice.
Sweet
So
Kim.
she-
Thank you, Kim. And
Kim-
Jenna. Love them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk to them tonight, and they both had really, really interesting stories to tell.
Ooh.
Cool.
So, but I just wanted to get like you've watched it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Have like besides the dream thing and all of that, have you had any like past people have passed on that have like you've seen signs from or
Well, so the episode number 3. I've watched that. Episode 3
That's
is
Mediums
the signs.
Part 2?
okay?
No.
it's the signs part.
Episode 3 is Mediums Part 2.
Okay, then episode.
The
I watched-
the signs
Yeah.
episode is.
Yeah, I only watched 2 episodes.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, which were
Why didn't you watch the whole thing?
well because a couple of them were about mediums and it was just those. Jenna's actually the one that said like those. There was just the 2 episodes that she was talking about.
You need to watch
The mediums?
No,
No.
it's
The
the
mediums
one
are
about.
the mediums are the least interesting ones, in my opinion.
It's the one about the signs. That's what I thought. So there's one about it starts off with a family. It's a 2 sisters and their mom is about to die, and they ask their mom, are you gonna give us a sign? Like what's your sign gonna be? And their mom said, I'm gonna come to you as a cardinal. And the day of her funeral, they were out in back of their house, and the funeral's done with, and everybody's gone, and they're outside, and a cardinal came and landed on the daughter's shoulder.
Oh my
And
God.
how often does it? That's
Yeah.
never
Right.
like,
I mean, I get it
and
a lot.
so specific, like
Yeah.
that bird.
Right. And then it wouldn't leave. It wouldn't leave their side until, and then they were like, oh my God. And they're recording. They're like, oh my God, can you believe this? And then they were like, Mom. And then she left.
But they at first they were trying and it wouldn't. Like they were like,
Yeah, it wouldn't
go
leave.
ahead,
It wanted
go
to
ahead.
stay.
Like
Nope, it wanted
no.
to stay. And it wasn't hurt because then it flew away.
Yeah.
But my aunt died, it'll be 2 years now. And in Wisconsin, where my mom and dad live, you see robins a lot. You see a cardinal once in a while, but they've been at the same place for 12 years, and I've never seen a robin or a cardinal ever. And my mom was in the kitchen, and she was just like, oh, and she said out loud, she's like, Julie, I miss you, because it was the last of my mom's family. Her sister, last of, hey, remember when Mom and Dad did that? Like they're gone. It's just my mom. And she looked out the kitchen window, and there was a fucking cardinal on the ledge staring into the kitchen. And my mom's like, what?
I'd forgotten that theirs was a cardinal as well.
Yeah, my mom started to cry, and she was like, Julie. So every time and then my mom went to sleep. This was like a day after my aunt died. My mom went to sleep, and she put her head down on the pillow, and she was crying, and she opened her, like she was just like staring off. She saw a round sort of, not an orb, but it was a round light. And my mom she didn't really believe in a lot of this stuff until my husband passed, and she saw a few things that sort of made her believe a little bit. But she saw a round thing, and she said it made her, it like followed her, like it followed it, and it went into her pillow and disappeared, and my mom fell right to sleep.
Oh wow.
And then the next morning she woke up and she walked into the kitchen, and this was in January when my aunt died. So there was like the windows were closed. My parents don't have like down comforters or anything. And there was a huge white feather in the kitchen on this red thing that they have, huge. And my mom was like, what is happening? And she now has saved, she has like six of them that she finds
Oh my
all
gosh.
over the house. And only when she's having like a really hard day and she speaks out loud and was like, I just want a sign, just
Yeah.
show me a sign. And she finds these white feathers. And there's always the cardinal will always be on that ledge staring inside. And I didn't believe it until I went home and I said out loud, I was like, Julie, are you around here? And we're like, haha, we're playing like cards or whatever. My mom's like, oh, and I turned around and I was like, oh my God. And it was like looking in the house like, hey, what's up? Like, it was so cool. But I mean, because at first I'm like, are we just looking for those things because someone has passed? But I think that they're around us, but until we lose someone, and then I think they
Yeah.
show us signs.
Yeah,
Anyhow.
and that was, I think, on one of the episodes that I had watched, they were saying like, am I just making this up in my head? Like, but then the episode that I watched was this family, this husband and wife that had lost their son. Like the tree fell on him. It was horrible, but the mom just looked so defeated to me. Like she was just like,
She's the one that she couldn't get past it, right?
yeah, she was just like, I keep asking for signs and I keep looking for signs. And so finally I just said like, she wanted to find a coin with the year that he was born. And so they had gone to the airport and there was like a bunch of loose change on the chair next to her, and none of them were the right year. And so she was like, after that, I just gave up. And then she said that she went home and then she smelt him. And it got me because I smell my grandma all the time.
I smell my grandpa all the time.
Yeah, my grandma wore Red Door.
I don't even think they make that.
What is that? Is that a scent?
It's a perfume.
It's by Elizabeth Arden.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my grandma used to bathe in her perfume. Like you could smell her a mile away. And so I'll just be like random places and I'll just get like this huge like whiff of my grandma. And then like, oh wow, like it's like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But I don't rarely ask for signs like that. But recently, like probably in the last month or two, it's been fairly recent. Every time I look at the clock, it's 6:28. Always 6:28, 6:28 a.m. or p.m. I'm always catching it at 6:28. I'm like, what is the significance of this number? My dad died on June 28th.
Wow.
Yeah, and it just dawned on me like a week ago. But it was like happening like consistently to where I noticed it like what is with it? Like I'm always looking at the clock and it's 6:28. And then it
Have
just
you noticed
There's-
though? Because I'm sorry.
No, please.
For the last 2 weeks, every time I look at my phone, it's 11:11, 10:10, 12:12.
I have 3:33. Is
Yeah,
mine.
I do like 3:33 or 4:44. But I swear to God, every time I'll wake up 12:12 and I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is
isn't-
happening?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't happen for months and months and months,
Yeah.
and so I wonder what that is.
There's-
I do that in the middle of the night. The 3:33 a lot in the middle of the night.
There's a little bit of a science to that. I was just listening to a podcast a week ago, and they were talking about the looking at the clock thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how your body has an internal clock that's pretty
Right.
dead on? Mm-hmm. So what could be happening is that you notice it once, and then your internal clock is aware of it, and it knows when it's coming up, so you'll start looking at the clock. So you'll see it more. If you don't see the number that's correct, you just forget about it. But when you see the one that's the right
So
number, it sticks with
it
you.
sticks
It's
with
like
you.
when I was thinking about
I
buying.
don't like that.
I know it doesn't fit. Doesn't fit the theme of the show, but
no,
it
but
makes
it's funny
sense too, though.
But it always maybe
it's
in the
one
middle of the
possibility.
night. Yeah, but it's weird because I haven't picked up my phone because I haven't done it and been like, oh, it's 12:14. I pick it up when it's 12:12, and I don't pick it up otherwise. Like I don't.
But your
look at
internal clock could know. It could know that that's happening. It's just a possibility. I'm not
For-
saying that it is,
for
but
2 weeks, and then for the rest of the fucking year, it's like
maybe, or it could be a spiritual thing. I'm just saying there's another.
You finally admitted it.
I've-
There you go. That's
He's
all
getting
I
there.
wanted.
He's
I
That's
try
all I
to
wanted.
bring my intelligence down to match the room. Is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm kidding, but it's a possibility. You know, I'm more open to things than I used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You? I know you
Me.
said that you asked for them not to give you signs, I remember.
Well, I asked for them not to visit me. I said, please don't visit me because I'll be really scared. But I'm talking about an apparition standing in front of me or something where they're just like,
They being all spirits, or just even family.
anyone, even family. I would tell my grandma, like when she was alive, I'm like, don't come visit me when you're
Really?
dead, please.
I
because
wouldn't want it either. I don't want it.
That's like.
I did it more
don't
because
see
I
that.
was always really scared. I was always really creeped out. I like horror movies, but I don't like to be scared. I don't know. I can't explain it. But like I said before, I miss it because now that they haven't been here for years, it's like, why don't they visit me in my dreams? I hear people talking about, oh, the dreams and stuff. Just recently, probably in the last couple years, now that I've been more open to it, like I'll have a dream of my grandma once in a while and stuff, or I have a dream of my brother. But most of the time when I have dreams of my brother, it's when he's little.
And your brother passed away.
My brother
yeah.
passed away in 2018. And then also, but it's funny too with my son, he's still alive, but
As far as we know.
right now, since I left the house.
Oh my God.
Jesus, don't put that out
You
there.
never know.
He's at he's at his Friendsgiving right now.
Oh, that's cute.
But they, I only have dreams of them when they're little.
Because your brother was sick, right? Like he had like
Yeah.
okay, so he was sick, and you're having those dreams because this is what I learned is because when they leave, it takes them a while to get better in the other world, and they show up as what they look like when they were younger. A lot of times.
Oh, then I have been. Then
What's the
he has
reasoning?
been
Just-
visiting me.
I don't
Like
I
an
don't know. This
innocence
is
or
what,
some
yeah,
kind
like
of-
no, you're like you go back to like the way like when you were young, like younger.
When you were
I mean, not
healthier
like a
and-
little
yeah.
boy, right?
Well,
Like a
those are all the
tiny
times
little
that we
boy?
want to go back
No,
to.
no,
Most
Like
of us.
teenager.
No, probably like when 7 or 8. But same with my. But that's how I
maybe
dream.
that's-
That's how I dream, anyways. Like I dream of my son and my kids when they're little. It's very rare when I have a dream of them at the age that they are.
That's funny.
Have you
I
ever
don't.
dreamt about your kids when they're like old?
No.
Like
No.
old people?
Every time I've dreamt
No.
about my kids, they're always the age they are, like at the time I'm dreaming.
Oh, really? See,
Yeah.
no, not mine.
Interesting. So maybe your brother is coming back in your dream, and he's
Yeah. But my grandma and grandpa visited me, but it's never been like, oh, I'm okay. It's kind of like they're kind of around visiting as I'm participating in something. Like if I'm doing something with the kids, because when they're little, like she's kind of like they're watching. It's yeah.
That's cool.
Does it
though.
feel
Never like
sweet
a
or
real-
does it feel weird?
It feels really it feels sweet. It feels
Comforting.
comforting. Yeah, but the one time I did, I started watching the Surviving Death, and I was watching the episodes at the time, and I kind of said out loud, you know, I want my brother to, you know, if you're around, you know, it's okay if you come see me, or if you give me a sign, or you come see me, right? So I was telling them
He's
about
gorgeous, by
a
the
day
way.
later. Thank you. He was, huh?
He's gorgeous.
And so I was in the kitchen washing dishes, and I don't know if you guys heard my story, but I had told it at another occasion, but I was washing dishes, and my hallway is kind of like this way
To your right.
to my right, and kind of kitty corner. I don't know my eyesight. What is that called? Not kitty corner.
Peripheral.
Peripheral.
Same shit. You almost had it.
And so I see a figure walk up, and my son's in his room. So, and I heard, like, I'm washing dishes, and I heard a voice, and I thought it was my son talking to me. And I was like, oh, what did you say? And at that time I looked, and I see like the kind of like the shadow, like as if he was there, kind of walk back. And so I go walking over to him, and it was like a few seconds. Like I just finished with that dish. I was almost done. I put it to the side. I go walking over to him, and I knock on his door in his bedroom, because I learned to knock first. And then I
Thank
opened
you.
up the door.
On behalf of all boys, thank you for knocking first.
Yeah, there's stories behind that reason.
Yeah.
So I go knock first, and I open up the door, and I'm like, hey, what did you ask me over there in the hallway? And he's gaming, and he's on the other side of his room, and pretend like I came up behind him. This is him.
Confused.
And I was like, I'm like, he's like,
You can tell he
"What do
loves you, by
mean?"
the way. It's very
Right?
He says it all the time. Even if he called me right now, you'd hear him say,
He might.
I love you. He always
He
says
might.
that.
Sweet. That's very
He always
sweet.
says, I love you. He never gets off the phone without saying it. I
That's
love that
smart. It's
about
good.
him. Yeah. And so I was like, and he's like, what are you talking about? I said, you just asked me a question when I was washing dishes. And he goes, I've been gaming. And I said, and I told him, shut the fuck up.
So
I told
the
him,
love
"Don't
is a
fuck
one-way
with me."
street.
Yeah.
Told him, don't fuck with me. Like, I'm scared. Like, seriously, like, what did you ask me? And he's like, and then he does this whole, I don't know if but he like takes off his thing, and he slowly stands up. Like, he's like, what is in the hallway? Like, you can tell on
Right.
his face at that point, it wasn't him. And I said, are you serious? You didn't come talk to me at all? And he goes, no. I'm like, okay.
And you
at
didn't
that-
tell him like I was talking to
I
your
did.
uncle
She
or
called me all.
I did.
What did
when
your
was
brother
it?
say to
When
you?
was this? When was
I
this?
didn't hear
This was
anything
just
because I was watching.
recently.
It was just recently. It was a couple weeks ago.
Oh shit.
It was before we did that one episode on exorcisms, because I was watching right before I was watching Surviving Death, I was watching that movie,
Deliver us from evil.
Deliver Us from Evil. And that I have a creepy story with too. I don't know. But with that one too, I was watching the movie, and there's a scene in there where they're playing the little Jack in the Box.
Oh, I hate those.
And it would pop.
Oh my God,
and
I'm
so,
so scared right
I'm
now.
sitting.
It's okay, you're safe. You're safe. You're safe.
So I'm sitting there doing my puzzle, because I don't watch horror movies straight on. I have to mostly listen to it. So I'm sitting there doing my puzzle,
so annoying.
and I'm hearing it because I get scared. I'm by myself, and my husband was out of town for a week, so it's just me and my
She
son.
thought that was a good time to watch.
Then
this
watch
stuff.
something else.
That's why my husband gets so pissed
Let me
off
pop
at
all
me.
these shows on.
Dumb and Dumber again? You guys cool with that? Yeah.
He hates horror movies, and so he never watches them with me. So I'm like, oh, it's perfect. He's not here. He's not bothering me, but I want to see this movie. So this noise goes off, and I'm doing my puzzle, and I'm kind of watching go down. And then after that scene passes, all of a sudden down my hallway, like to my left, I hear dun, 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 dun,
Come
dun.
on.
Stop
I'm
it.
not lying. I'm not lying. I got so super scared. I went like this, and I was like, was it part of the, like, did it come back in the movie? But I was too afraid to reverse the movie to see if the sound came
Rewind
back.
is the word that we use.
Reverse it. She's gonna
Be
reverse.
kind, rewind.
She's gonna reverse it.
I'm gonna lunge forward in this film.
It drives my husband nuts too because me and my kids, we say hire it up when we say turn up for the radio. We'll say
Hire it up.
That's a very southern
You guys
thing.
are not from Earth. I don't know what's happening.
You guys.
I mean her family. Her and everyone in her blood connection.
That's a southern thing.
Is
though.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I'm from Oklahoma. It makes sense.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Can't hear and hire it up.
Hire
No,
it up.
we say cut it on. Cut it on.
What does that mean?
Turn on the TV. And
Oh,
I
God.
grew up in East Texas, so it's close.
Yeah, see? No,
Hi-
see,
higher
makes
up.
You guys
higher
gotta
up.
learn the language,
Fire
man.
up! Fire it up!
So, yeah. So I heard that down.
Wait, so was it on the movie?
No, it wasn't on the movie. It was. It was
in her
some-
hallway.
But I'm gonna tell you
That
what
hallway is.
Yeah.
It was just a poltergeist. It's
But
no
I'm gonna
big
tell you
deal.
what I think it was because I know now where I think where the sound came from, but I don't know how it got bumped or how it got hit. Is on top of my table. I was given like this little tea set gift. It had tea bags in it, and it has cats on it. And when you spin it and you let it go, it makes music, and it makes kind of like that.
Who the
same
fuck
type
was
of
opening
music.
that up?
But how did it? Yeah, it wasn't like nobody was there in my living room.
What's
to
your brother's
touch
name?
It. Joe. Joe. Yeah.
Joe, that's fun stuff, Joe. You're doing in the hallway.
Oh no! You want to hear what else he does?
Yes.
What is?
The light in the bathroom.
Oh, I do have a light that goes off
It, like-
and on in the bathroom.
So
We have one too. You must be rich. We have a light that goes on and off in the bathroom too.
okay, so she
On a switch. If we want it on. It's amazing
This
technology.
thing goes off and on, off and on, off and on. So for weeks, she was telling me, she's like, I think Joe's here, and I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, the
every time I
the
take a
light
shower.
in the bathroom. Every time I
Light
take a
off.
shower, it's like, yeah, it's like going off and on, off and on, and I'm like, Joe, stop. So then a couple weeks later, my plumbing was out in my house, and so they had to turn my water off. So I was like, I have to take a shower. I'm like, can I go to your house? She's like, yeah, we're not there, but go ahead and use the shower.
Did Joe get a show?
he turned the
I
lights brighter.
swear, I was like, I screamed
Freaking a shop
so loud.
Video camera.
I'm in there taking a shower. All of a sudden, the lights go out, and I'm like,
Stop.
stop it! Just Joe, don't do this right now. I'm by myself. There's nobody here. And then they would come
And
back
you hear,
on.
oh yeah, good
And it
stuff.
happened like 3 times. So I called her and I was like, okay, I'm next time I'm just not gonna shower.
So there's nothing
Ghost
wrong
dollars
with, like,
making it rain.
No.
You know, like Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
not Ghostbusters,
I don't.
Ghost Adventures or whatever, and they go in and
Yeah,
they try
but
to like
much less silly.
problem solve the thing. and
We haven't
find
had
out-
it. I did ask my husband. It's on his list. I created a list, and that's one of the
Yeah,
things
that'd
he
be
needs
the
to
number one thing.
Yeah.
For me,
Pay
like-
bills, find ghosts, pick up kids from school. No particular order.
See where my brother's at. Check on Joe.
Get shit on.
Because it's funny too. Is sometimes when you're in that particular bathroom too, you'll hear knocking. Like
What?
Could that be pipes? Pipes do that.
And that's what I
Yep.
think. I'm thinking maybe there's something happening up
it
there
an
with
old
the
house?
pipes. It's from the 50s, but we've
Okay.
redone the whole thing.
Does it happen more like in the winter
Those
when
bathrooms are
heat?
brand new.
That's usually a heat sound. The when pipes knock. I
Yeah.
think it's usually heat, not water.
Well, no, because it happens all the time. It's
Okay.
not like any particular season. It happens all the
Joe.
time. But
Joe's a menace, huh?
But before I moved into this house, I always felt something in this house. Like I would go when it was completely empty and we hadn't moved in yet. I would go and paint the house, and when it would start get I don't even know. I was going to say it wrong. My
Please
language.
do it.
My
language. When it started to get dark, I would want to leave, right? And I wouldn't want to stay there because and I think it had something to do with electricity. I don't know, but I would try to get in my car and go. But I would always feel like something watching me.
When did you move in?
In 2016.
Oh, so before he passed away, and there were still
Before
feelings.
16.
Okay.
I always felt like something was in this house.
When did he pass away?
2018.
Okay.
And so we moved in 2016, and I would back out from the driveway to go home, and just something in me would tell me, don't look. We have this big like French doors in the front of the house next to, and I would always say, don't look in the French doors, don't look in the French doors. And I never want to look in it. But I do have a picture that I took one Halloween And I have a clown that sits. I have one of my animatronic
That was last
clown
That was
that
last
sits in
Halloween.
No,
Have
no.
you not seen? You need to see her house at Halloween.
At Halloween, I have this.
Joe is also a
clown.
professional circus clown, which is like just a wild.
Along with being a drag queen, he's wonderful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't he like a
Multi-talented,
yeah?
yes, wonderful drag queen.
And he was funny too, right?
Yeah, so
he's
super funny.
gonna
I was gonna
play
ask,
little
that's
like
what I was gonna
jokes
ask.
on
Yeah.
you too. Like,
Do the
sarcasm
lights and
and-
stuff feel like his personality?
It would feel like he used to like
Yes.
scaring us. Yes. No. If he knew you were scared, it'd be kind of like, oh yeah, no, I have
Oh, I like
stories.
Joe.
He used to chase me and my friends up on the roof with a knife. Like he was scary
Oh.
sometimes when we were younger. Joe.
What a cool guy!
wow, funny.
I was a very boring brother.
Jokester.
Stay where you're at.
One
Joe.
time he killed my friend. It was crazy. Joe was nuts.
it was really funny.
Some crazy shit. But he thought he was just so funny and cute.
That's Joe.
But yeah.
Oh, Joe.
So
Joe, you're not welcome here. Just so you, if you're listening to the podcast,
So I would be afraid that something would be watching me and staring at me. Well, 1 year, probably about 3-4 years ago,
No,
I
it
took
was
a
last
picture.
year.
Well, no, that was when I found that picture was taken 3-4 years
Oh.
ago.
Oh.
So 3-4 years ago, I took a picture of my animatronic when I got him my clown. And
You
he
have an
was
animatronic?
clown.
Like
I have-
30,
I have a lot
5
of
of them in her yard.
I have animatronics at Christmas. I love animatronics.
we
at
can tell.
Christmas, at Halloween.
Just a side note, did you see that Chuck E. Cheese is doing away with their animatronics
Yes, because of
Friday
Five
Night-
Nights at
Five
Freddy's.
Nights at Freddy.
That's fucked up. Anyhow,
Really?
go on.
Yeah.
I hate that. Tell me
So
how.
ridiculous.
I know. Okay.
So I took this picture of them one time and not a big deal, didn't think much of it. But when we started doing our podcast last Halloween, I thought I would want to make like a really, kind of like a scary video, for Halloween on our TikTok. So I do a part where I took that picture and I kind of like with scary music zoomed in on the clown that I took a picture of. Well, in the reflection behind the clown, there is a face staring back, and there's
Stop.
nobody.
No,
And I'll
it's-
show you
it
after,
is
but
crazy.
there's this face staring back at us, and I'm looking. There wasn't anything facing it, and there wasn't anything on the inside because it's my husband's office. So there's no dolls, there's no animatronics. It's just nobody was there, and it's very obvious. It's not a face that is like a human type face. It's very
It's so clear though, like
yeah.
very clear.
Wait, so
So-
have you ever looked in your French doors, even though your mind is saying, have you ever been like, okay, I'm looking, and like, do you ever like,
Yeah, now I do because I feel like even if it is something there, but I always felt like it was a child. That's the weirdest feeling I would always get.
Ooh.
Like I always felt like it was a child, but I don't.
And did
think
you look
anything's
back
ever
at the
happened.
records of your
I
house?
haven't. I don't.
You
know.
need to,
need to
yeah, you need to
do.
look at the history of your
And
house.
it's just always
My
been a
guess is
feeling. Look at
multiple
even me right now
murders.
talking about it.
that's my guess. If I had to wager a guess, it's multiple murders.
Clowns.
Yeah, clowns
a
killed
clown.
an entire family in your house.
I know that. I think he was a firefighter, and he had a bunch of kids. And
yeah, but you can
that
look.
grew
There's
up
like
there.
there's a
They have to-
website.
they have to
It's called
disclose, right?
whodiedinmyhouse.com.
But the funny thing
Yeah.
with that is though.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I looked up my old address because I know my grandma and my grandpa both died in our house, and they don't ever mention it because if they take
I
him
don't-
out in an ambulance and they declare him dead at
Oh,
the
right.
hospital,
Yeah.
Said the
They
Disney World
don't-
the rules.
yeah,
Yeah.
they don't list the home. Even though both my grandparents died in our old home, no one's ever going to find that out.
Yeah.
because it's listed as the hospital's. Because that's where they declared him dead, but they actually died in our home, and they didn't pick him up for like a couple hours. So I don't know where this whole thing is where they got to declare him dead at a hospital. Like,
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
yeah.
Wow, those are good stories.
I know. I have a.
So you heard somebody talking.
I
You
heard
don't
them.
know what they said.
I
'Cause
have-
the water was running.
the
or
water's
whatever.
running, whatever it was.
She was
I
so
don't know.
freaked out.
I
Like
was. I
she
called
was
her.
so freaked out. She's like, I don't know what's been going on, but just lately these things have been happening, and it was just like diarrhea of the mouth. She just like.
And I told her maybe it's just my you question yourself like is
Right.
my mind playing tricks
Well,
on
when
me
you're
because
by
I'm by myself?
yourself, it's like,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
always feel like
Somebody's watching me.
or talking to you.
That one was really weird because I can clearly hear somebody talk to me. But I've had
like that.
actually talk, like not even a whisper, but I've heard that before too.
Hey, Shannon.
I hear it at
Turn
the
around.
job I work at now. I work at a place that was built in 36, 1936, and like Alfred Hitchcock and Charlie Chaplin and Evel Knievel, and they all would go in there and drink.
Oh, I know.
Oh, wow.
And they're just weird things like when I first started to work there, but I'll hear my name several times like Heidi, and I'll look around and be like, yep, nope. Like, nope. Especially if I close there and I'm there like alone in the back, I get like chills up I feel that like that. I
Like you can hear
that. Yeah.
No, I do. I get mom a lot, mom. And then one time I actually heard my son's voice calling me, and I got up and I'm like, yeah, what do you want?
Was it at your house now?
It was at my house. It's at the house now. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, what do you want? And I totally walk over there trying to talk at the same time. And he's, again, headphones. One time he was sleeping. I do get that a lot. I get a lot of where I'm answering and I turn around and there's no one there. And
wow.
You might be crazy. I mean, there's a chance that you might be nuts.
that is a
When we're done, let's take you to the hospital.
Get you
Check in
checked
for a few
out.
days. They're going to take good care of you.
Yep.
We'll take care of your kids. It's all
That's
right.
what I feel like happened in the
Happy
You're on,
Thanksgiving.
you're on vacation right now anyway,
Yeah.
right? So you
No
don't need
one
to
will
go to
know.
work. Yeah, we won't let anybody know.
Wow.
But yeah, I feel like that's
Interesting.
happened to people, back when they used to put the women in the
A shed in the back.
asylum.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, when
As
they
I
were
call
just
it, the good old days.
when they were just going through menopause,
Yeah.
they would
Yeah.
think
That's
they
why
were
it
going
was
crazy.
like the hysteria that
Yes.
they would have of
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we have 2 listeners that said that we could call them. So how do I
Connect
do
to this guy. Go to your Bluetooth
Okay.
and look for Rodecaster Pro.
You just have to hold it down. Hold the Bluetooth button down, and it'll pop it up for you too.
You know
yeah,
what
like on
happened?
that
You know what
page, if you
happened
just
the other
hold it.
night?
Okay, now you should be able to make a
once in a
call.
while at home,
And
I'll
it'll come out through
hear-
here.
Yep.
I have a studio; it's tiny, but I'll hear footsteps in my place, but like somebody that's barefoot,
Yeah.
and I wear like a thing over my eyes, and I take it off, and I just like look around. I'm like, hello. And I'm just like,
Why do you want to look around?
I just want to see, like, well, I want to know if is somebody in my place.
I like
Yeah,
being
that's
scared.
But like, it's like you hear it. It's
Yeah.
in my place. It's not in the hallway. It's not. It's in
You
my
can
place.
hear it.
Yeah, it freaks me out a little bit.
I have a coworker who actually in her home, she was sleeping one time and she woke up because she felt something and she literally saw a shadow hovering over her. And she said she laid there and she just told them, go away. And they went away and she says it's never come back. But she
That's kind of best case scenario,
yeah,
right?
she just kind of told
No,
them,
thank
go
you.
away.
No, thanks.
Yeah. She just told them, go away, leave me alone. And I said, and you still stayed in that house?
Oh my God.
And she's like, yeah.
I mean, I
She
saw a
was like, "Never."
spider in my house, and I turned on the lights, and I'm like,
She moved. Yeah, you
I'm
moved.
about, yeah, I have it's my old place.
Okay, we're calling Kim.
Let me make sure when you answer, keep it.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. You're on the air. You're here with Shannon and
Hi.
Dan and Heidi
Hi, Kim.
and
Hi, Kim.
Dickless.
Hi guys, how is everyone?
We're
Good.
great. We're
How are
great.
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
That's good. You sound good.
Yeah, getting ready for Thanksgiving. I'm doing all the cooking this year, so I love it. And just prepping and getting ready. So yeah, everything is really good today.
Where do
Nice.
you live, Kim?
I am in Coral Springs, Florida, which is
Ooh.
about 20 minutes from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah,
Nice.
fun.
What's the weather like over there?
It rained for like a week straight, but we're back to nice weather, and it is currently 74 degrees here.
Oh, wow.
It rained in Florida. You don't say. Crazy. You learn something new every day.
But it was crazier than normal because it was like Noah's Ark for a week straight. There was
Ooh, I love it.
some city in Florida that got like 100 inches of rain.
my God.
Oh Lord.
Miami and Fort Lauderdale were flooded. They actually canceled school for kids. It was pretty crazy.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
How,
Was
how was
it
that not in
record?
the news?
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I didn't hear 100 inches.
How was that not in the news? That's so crazy. But oh my God. Sorry, Kim. I'm gonna get mad.
Okay, so
Please write a
Kim,
letter.
Tell us
we
your
could have
story.
lost Florida and we wouldn't have
Yeah,
known.
I love Florida.
If it weren't for Kim, I wouldn't mind. To be honest with you.
I love Florida. Kim,
Anyway,
I love it
anyway.
there.
You know, I've been here now 20 years, and honestly, I hate it.
You hate
Oh.
it?
There you go.
Where
It's full
where
of
are you
dumb
from?
people. I'm from Pittsburgh.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
but I did
Steeltown.
live in, yes, my Steelers.
Oh, you're a
but-
Steeler fan, Kim?
Hell yeah.
So is
Oh
Gina.
my God, so am I. My whole family.
Wait, is that where you're
us
from
too.
originally?
No,
Yeah.
we're all just
Oh.
Steeler fans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man,
Boo.
they are the greatest team. And then I
Oh.
did live in LA for like 15 years. Or
Oh,
so,
wow.
We came here when my daughter was young because, you know, we just couldn't afford to raise her in LA.
I get it.
Oh, yeah.
No one can.
Can't afford to raise myself here
Yeah.
I know, right?
So you were nice enough to say that we could call you so you could share a story of your mom, I believe.
Yes.
So,
So, I mean, there's been a couple, like several incidences since she's passed, but like two of the ones that stand out the most to me were, first of all, the day that she passed away. She she was found in her garage because this is where she would go and smoke cigarettes at night because, you know, you don't want to be sitting outside in the dark in Florida
yeah.
in the middle of the night. So I guess that the police thought that that was suspicious for whatever reason. So, like, they wouldn't let us in the house. They wouldn't let us in the garage. It's like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm standing out, you know, like on the street. So we're there for about like an hour or so. And my mom, I sent you the picture. I mean,
Yes.
she was gorgeous. The kind of person that wouldn't leave her house without lipstick and high heels on. I mean, that was just how she was. So she was found with her hair a mess, no makeup. She had on a wife beater and a pair of, like, you know, cotton, like, granny panties.
Mm-hmm.
Florida.
So, yeah.
Perfect.
So if she was alive, she would have died of embarrassment
Oh.
of anyone seeing her that way. So there's all this police, there's all this stuff, and this bee comes around, and it just keeps dive bombing at my face. And
Did you
then,
say a
like,
bee,
another
like
one
like a buzzing bee?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Like yeah, you know.
Yep.
So I can just feel like my mom's like agitation. And she's just like, Kimmy, like, they can't see me like this. Like, I'm just
Cover
so,
me up.
Yeah.
you know, yeah. And they wouldn't let us even get near her. Like, I almost had an altercation with one of the cops. And my husband is like, no, crazy lady, slow your roll. And
How old
I'm
was your
just-
mom when she passed?
she was 70.
Oh,
And-
Too young.
that's to me that's young.
And, you know, it was crazy. Like, she beat cancer 3 times. And hers was different than mine. It was breast, but it was different. 3 times. She went through chemo. This woman went through hell, and it ended up being a heart attack
Wow.
that took her out.
Mm.
So I'm just increasingly getting anxious, and I can just hear her in my head. And I was like literally compelled to go find like a nice picture of her. And I went around and I showed it to each of them. And I'm like, you have to understand that, you know, that's not just some old lady in her underwear that you're looking at. This was a beautiful, vibrant woman who prided herself on, you know, being beautiful. And so I showed all of them like a really nice picture of her. And I swear to God, like, the bees left, and out of nowhere, there must have been, and I love nature, so there must have been 10 different species of birds that just came one after the other, landing in the trees, and they're chirping, and they're happy, and like butterflies go by. And I was just like, oh my God, like, she's here, you know, like, she did all of this. And then I didn't put this in the message I sent you, but I think it was that night that she passed, or it was the night after. And I guess I was dreaming, but her and I were at the bottom of my bed, and my husband is, you know, in the bed. and we're just cuddled up close, and we're whispering and we're talking and we're laughing, and then all of a sudden, like, she just kind of goes gray and starts to disappear. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I wake up and I'm like, no. And Kyle's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, my mom, she was just here. He's like, hon, like, your mom is not here. And I'm like, I'm telling you. And like, you were in the dream and you're wearing what you're wearing now. So it was just really, really, really weird.
Wow.
The whole thing. And the other thing that was the most amazing was I had to go for one of my PET scans. And something happened after the double mastectomy to where, like, I can't lay on my back. It spasms and my legs will, like, go numb and feel like they're on fire. So I get in the machine and I'm in there for like 45 seconds and the spasms start. And I'm just trying to breathe through them and, not move, because if you screw it up, you got to redo the test. And the PET scan lasts about 35 minutes or so. So I'm at the point of like tears, and I was just like, man, Mom, like, can you help me out? And I swear on the lives of my children, it was like I could see her plain as day. And she came and put like her head on my head and like had her arms, like wrapped around like my head and like an arm under my chin. And she just put her head there, and I could feel her warmth. I could smell her. My mom was one of those people, she always just smelled amazing. No matter what she put on, she just smelled incredible. And the next thing I know, they're pulling me out of the machine and they're like, you're done. So I lost like an entire 30 minutes or more that I have no recollection of. The last thing that I remembered was just her coming to hug me and be with me, and the pain stopped, and the next thing I know, this thing is over.
Wow.
Wow. That's
So yeah, I mean, to people that don't feel this stuff or don't believe in it, it sounds insane. And yeah, I'm a little crazy, but I'm really not. Like,
No.
I'm normal and I'm logical. So I just know that these things happened.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I've said multiple times, some people are really, really sensitive to some stuff and some people aren't. And I'm one of those people that is not sensitive to that stuff. But recently I have been, in the last, year or so, experiencing more and more things that, and maybe I just blocked them out before, whatever the case may be. But I think maybe like just being more open to things, then things start to happen, or you start to recognize things where before I would always just dismiss it all, talk it all away, explain it away. And now, hearing this, it's like these things happen. It's, how do you just lose 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no pain.
And, I feel like Heidi, because I have one more that I want to say.
We're almost done with the show.
I'm sitting here
No,
crying.
just so you know, I'm like sobbing. So that's why I'm so quiet. I'm like, because the same thing had happened to my sister when my sister had a thing, and I can't talk. So go ahead, Kim. I'm gonna start to cry. So go ahead. Sorry.
You had me crying too, Kim, by the way.
Okay. I'd love to hear about your sister. So it was the year anniversary of her passing. And so by now I know that like my cancer has come back. And so I decided that taking mushrooms would just be a great idea. Just
It
take
always
the
is.
mushrooms, like, it always is, right? It's never a bad idea.
Never.
Well, this one kind of was a bad idea because, we've gotten shitty mushrooms in all the years that we've lived here. So I wasn't expecting anything. And I measured out 3 grams, which was probably way more than I needed anyway. And these ones were so good.
Hire it up. Hire it up.
It was insane. I was sick for like the first 2 hours.
Oh.
Like just vomiting and
Oh.
sick, and yeah, it was pretty terrible. And I'm trying to Google, like, when is it time to go to the ER?
Such a mushroom
Stop
move.
a mushroom trip. And, you know, I can't, like, focus on anything that the screen is saying. And everybody else in the house is sound asleep. So after about 3 hours of this, I was like, Mom, like, really, I need you. And because I was tripping, you know, I can't say with any certainty, but I swear, like, she, like, appeared in the chair in front of me. And she's like, oh, my God, Kimmy, only you would be taking mushrooms in the middle of the night while everyone else is sleeping.
And then telling your mom about it.
And then asking
and
mom for
telling
help.
my mom about it.
Don't be mad, Mom, but I'm tripping balls and I need you pretty bad. I know you're probably busy, but
She totally expected that kind of stuff from me. So my trip turned around and I was laughing my ass off. I mean, just,
beautiful.
you know, the kind where you can't stop.
Yeah.
And so I get this brilliant idea to leave a message for my sister and leave another one for my mom's boyfriend. And
mushrooms rule.
I do. And I think I started the message off with, I'm probably going to regret this. And I was laughing so hard. I mean, just, I couldn't even get through to tell them that, you know, I was just tripping balls. And I don't know what all I said. I'm sure the message was, you know, nonsense, and you couldn't really understand it because I was laughing the whole time. So the next day, Mark, that's her boyfriend, I'm almost afraid to answer the phone, and I'm like, hello? And he's like, oh my God, he's like, I laughed so hard. He's like, that was the funniest thing. He's like, I could hear you and Kyle laughing. And I said, what? And he's like, yeah, I could hear you both laughing. And I could hear him saying something in the background. And I'm like, Kyle was in bed, sound asleep. It was me out here by my
What?
lonesome. Yeah. So I waited to see what my sister had to say. And the next day, like, I wasn't even going to tell my husband about these messages or anything. Like, he knew what I was doing, but I was just going to skip that part. So I'm like, you know, let me play this for you, and you tell me what you hear. So I play it for him. He goes, oh, my God. He's like, I hear two voices. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. So then we call my sister, and, you know, she was like, that was really funny. She's like, but how did you get Kyle to stay up with you at 3 o'clock in the morning? Because I swear he keeps farmer's hours. And I'm like, it was me by myself. And I'm telling you that Mom was sitting here with me, and we were laughing our asses off the entire time because she would totally expect something like this from me. So everybody that heard this, they all heard two voices. So explain that. Even if I was tripping, I'm not a ventriloquist. So
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Right?
Did you save it?
Yeah,
You have them saved, right?
they are saved
Yeah.
somewhere
No, I would
on my
keep that
phone.
for sure.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, when she
Yeah,
sent
I'm
me all
pretty
those,
sure.
I was like, yeah, that's
Wow.
yeah. I messaged her and I was like, can we call you? I know you're in a different time zone, but
I feel like you,
call
Gina, because I dismissed this stuff for most of my life too, and just like it seems silly, but the last couple of years, I've opened my mind up to possibilities, and that documentary really changed my view a lot.
yeah,
And
it's
yeah,
it makes
I
you
believe it. I
really
mean,
think like it's
I don't
know.
I just know that we don't know. That's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
yep.
But our
And,
energy has
you
to
know-
go somewhere.
Yeah,
And
no.
a lot of the people who have had these experiences where they've been dead for 40 minutes or an hour have the same
Well, that's why the
experience.
first episode was my favorite one. The
Yes.
near-death
Yes.
experiences was,
where they see their
incredible.
old loved ones and they see this light.
and they don't want to go
They don't
home.
want to
They don't want to come back
yeah,
here.
They don't want to come back.
Yeah.
And the
Wow.
peacefulness.
Like, you nailed it. We don't know.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always held the belief that I do not discount the evidence of anything.
Mhm.
I mean, the existence of anything, because we don't know. You could explore the ocean every day, every minute for the rest of your life and still so much of it would be
Oh,
unknown
yeah.
to you.
There's
Yeah.
still mysteries.
like-
Yep.
Or even the whole alien. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, just because we haven't seen them, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah.
Also, I know this is off the no, it's not off the subject, but I had a friend when I was little who would see little woodland creatures, and up until he was probably like 26, and they lived in Madison, Wisconsin, and out in their backyard. When he was a little kid, he would hear like tapping on the window in the basement, and allegedly he said he saw these little creatures, and he just thought he was a kid. Like, he's like, oh, it's just I'm seeing things. And then one night, his dad heard the tapping, and so and then there's all these books and these stories about, you never know, there could be these little people, little elves or whatever.
Who knows?
You never know. It could be
I
an
think,
alien.
I think Todd is one of them.
I was going to say, I wish some cook and clean my house for me. That would be awesome. If I hear them happen, I'll let them in.
Whistle while you work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I always say, like, myths and things like, they come from somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, they come from
Urban
somewhere.
legends,
Urban
everything,
legends,
yeah.
everything. I was watching a YouTube video, and they were showing. Have you seen that one with that big, huge footprint on the rock that they have? There's a whole huge footprint on this
Bigfoot.
rock.
The wrestler?
No. I'm going to get that video and show you. I'm going to try to find it. But yeah.
I think I've seen that, yeah.
But it sits upright and you can go and people take pictures next to it or whatever, but they're talking about it too. And it just looks like a footprint, but it's so huge and
Like a
Yeah, you
giant.
never-
like a
yeah.
giant. And they talk about like how thousands and thousands of years ago we could have had giants that lived.
Yeah, I mean, it was on Game of Thrones, so.
I mean,
It's
we
true,
had,
which is basically a documentary.
Hello.
Everyone knows that.
Hello.
well, we did have dinosaurs. I mean, we had
It's true.
animals that
And
were
dragons.
and yeah, so
I don't think we had dragons.
yeah, I think
Unicorns?
we had dragons. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I think we did.
I know.
Hey,
Flying
we don't know.
creatures, Exactly.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Exactly.
Except we
Well,
do,
I-
but yeah.
I just saw something. I didn't
Pterodactyl.
mean to cut anyone off. It was a prehistoric sloth that had a
Oh.
huge unicorn horn on it.
Wait, this is
And they were
this, is a-
saying, like,
this is real?
yeah, this is real. It was just uncovered recently, and
That
it was a
sounds cool.
giant prehistoric sloth with a horn. And the
Okay,
horn
a
looks
hairy
exactly.
unicorn.
Cute.
Yeah,
Sloths are adorable.
they really are. But I hope that those ones were as slow as today's because they were humongous.
Oh man, I kind of
Wow.
want one for a pet. I want to cuddle one. Dan's looking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw it like a few days ago.
Cool.
And
We'll
if
find
you
it.
can't find it, I'll see if I can.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
send it
Cool.
to me. Well, Kim, thank you so much. And honestly, talking to you is so delightful, and hearing you laugh and your attitude and just everything. You're like, I'll say it again. You're my hero.
Likewise.
You're
Thank you. And
You're something
I
else.
just absolutely love all four of you.
Oh,
And,
thank
like,
you.
You're
You
amazing.
know, you guys have been just, you guys have been like a bright spot for me. I look forward always to the podcast, and I laugh. I'll be sitting outside by myself on my patio, laughing like some crazy fool. So, thank you. You guys have brought me so much joy.
Well,
And you bring us so much joy.
Well, yeah,
too.
exactly. Thank you, Gil.
Thank
you,
you.
Kim.
Yes.
Kim,
All
I
right,
have
I
a
appreciate it,
freaking thing of
A mound of
Kleenex.
tissues.
Wait till you watch this episode, Kim.
You're making me cry.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. all
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
We love you,
All
Kim.
right, you all take care. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Okay. So
That was something.
That,
I mean, that
that
was
same
something.
thing happened to my sister. So my
I did find a picture, by the way. It's a real. She wasn't lying. It's right there.
it looks like a
Unbelievable.
slee stack from what was that show?
It almost looks too
Land-
good to
Land
be
of the
true.
Lost.
Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to love those
Me
shows right
too.
before.
I
And then
love.
I talked to people about, remember the witch would go flying. They had the witch
Witchy
show.
Poo. Witchy
Yes.
Poo. It was.
What was that one called?
Sigmund the
no,
it was,
that's Sigmund the sea monster.
It was Witchy Poo, and it was. It's all the Sid and Marty Krofft shows.
Is that? Oh my gosh, they were
Yeah.
the best. And that guy who was on Sigmund the Sea Monster, remember, with the big mustache and everything.
Yeah.
I saw him one time driving through Hollywood. I just thought, and to me that brought me back to my childhood.
So
I'm like,
cool. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I talk to kids nowadays about it, and they don't
have
know what
no
I'm talking
clue.
about.
I don't know what you're
Best
talking about.
TV.
My just really
Saturday
quick
morning.
to match Kim's story. My sister was having some teeth work done. My husband had just died like a year prior, and she started to have a reaction to what they like the Novocaine and something else, and her heart started to like she was having a really bad
reaction.
and she started to shake like her whole body, and they didn't know what to do. And in her mind, she closed her eyes and said, "Pete, can you please just hold my hand?"
And that's
And
your
she
husband?
Felt his hand cover her hand, and she was fine, and she stopped shaking, and they were like, what just happened? And she's like, he was there, he showed up. And I was like, what? So
Wow.
anyhow, the same thing, like she felt
Yeah.
the warmth of his hand and like his arm, like caressing her arm.
Yeah, Kim actually, when we had asked on one of our Patreon episodes if anybody had any stories that they would want to share. So she sent me a bunch of voice messages on Instagram. And I'm like, I can't retell this story. So I'm like,
That's
can
so
we
cool.
call you?
That was cool.
And so,
So
yeah.
cool.
So we're going to call Jenna now.
All right, great.
Jenna has an interesting one too.
Jenna's husband, who
He's there. He's trying to stay awake because he wants to say hi to you.
Oh.
Hello?
Hey,
Hi, Miss Bitch.
Jenna.
How are you?
so exciting.
Oh my God, I miss you.
Oh, I miss all you guys. Even the ones I haven't met.
Right?
Thank you.
Hi, Jenna.
'Cause I
Jenna,
feel like
where-
I know you.
Where do you live?
Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
Heidi's obsessed with where people live.
I love Tennessee.
What's your address? We're coming
Are you
over.
from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see.
That's right.
Oh God. All right, good talking to you, Jenna. We'll talk to you later. Our work is done here.
Is Adam there?
Yep, right here.
I'm here.
Hi, Adam.
Hey, Adam. We were just talking about you.
How's my tattoo doing?
Great.
Awesome. Good. Good.
It's great.
I think
Wait, you
he
gotta.
touches it every day.
Wait, what?
He touches it every day.
I wish I was. Anyway,
Wait, what's the story?
We
behind
can't
Oh,
talk.
we
We
can't
can't
talk
talk
about
about it.
it's illegal.
Yeah,
Oh.
we can't talk about
Oh
it.
my God.
Unbelievable. Oh, it's not illegal. It's got to be out there somewhere.
I don't think. I think that story has been erased from the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mhm.
I actually made sure of it. So,
Why did you have to stand there and pose for
no,
it?
no. I'll tell you after we're done here. Anyway.
Okay, so Jenna, you had messaged me, or a bunch of us. So our group message is called Best Bitches, because we're all best bitches. And so, you had go ahead and tell the story of what you messaged us that you experienced or you found.
Well, how it started out was I heard about surviving death from Rare Form Radio. I heard Dan and Heidi talking
Woot woot.
to patreon.com/Rare Form Radio.
There you go. Yes. Someone's getting a free month. That's how you do it, Heidi.
Extra bonus episode for Jenna.
Yeah.
Damn it. When you ask me what it is, I'm just going to play that.
Hold
Jenna
your
play
phone
it.
up. Anyway.
Okay, so I found out about the surviving death from Rare Form Radio, and I work third shift, and most nights when I'm not working, I still stay up, and I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff like that. My mom passed away August 24th, and I started watching this in October. And, I never really thought much about asking about signs from the other side or anything about that, except maybe the seeing red birds or pennies from heaven, those little things you would see, or maybe dreaming about somebody that has passed away, but that's kind of a normal thing. Exactly a week after she died, I just went back to look at the picture that I took of it. I started finding pennies and just found pennies here and there. I've got them in a little, keeping all of them together. I think there's 6 in there now. And I'm like, is that a sign or is it just a penny on the ground? It could be, doesn't mean it's a sign from your loved one or anything, but I watched the 4th episode of Surviving Death called Signs from the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I said. I kind of asked out, I'm like, come on, I need a sign. I need some kind of sign that everything's okay, because my mom passed away from vascular dementia, which is a really rough disease. And the last month was just absolutely horrible. So I wanted this, everyone wants closure, wanted to find. I was working that night, came home, went to bed, woke up that morning or that afternoon, walked into the kitchen, and there's a snow globe sitting on the table, on the kitchen table. And it was gold, it's silver with gold that says love on the inside of it. And Adam is the one that found it. And he can tell you how he found it, and then I can tell you the significance.
Wait, what was it?
A snow
Snow
globe.
globe.
A snow globe. Okay.
Well, normally I will go walking in the afternoons, just around our neighborhood and picking up trash just for exercise. And usually I follow the same route. It's like a 2-mile loop, and I'll usually follow the same route. And for whatever reason, this day I just decided to go a different direction, just down a different road. And we live out in the country, so it's just out in the middle of nowhere. And so this road was even more out in the middle, even less traveled. Just like normal, I was picking up trash and saw something in the grass and reached down and picked it up, and it was a snow globe. I didn't think very much of it and just put it in my pocket. And then as I was walking along, I just looked at it more. I was like, oh, that's interesting. There's love on it. That's cool. Jennifer will like that. And then I didn't know anything about her asking about signs or anything. And then just left it for her. And so when she woke up, that was for her.
So I go, I see it on the table, and I'm kind of speechless. I'm like, what is this? And he told me how he found it. And as a kid, my mom always had this snow globe on her desk that I just loved, and I always played with it, and it just was always real special to me. And then last year, her last Christmas, I got her, it's a big snow globe. It's like a big centerpiece Christmas decoration thing, and she just loved it so much that she wanted to keep it out all year round and not put it up with the Christmas decorations and all that. So to me, that was like, where did the snow globe come from? And, that seemed like that was the sign I had just asked for the night before.
And Adam changed his walking route and found it.
Yes.
Wow.
And you said that your mom had one when you were younger that said love inside it.
No,
right?
no,
Oh,
it was
okay.
it was a snowman.
Oh, snowman. Okay.
When I was younger, that's why I got her the one last year, because I'm like, oh, it's a snowman,
Oh.
just like I had when I was little, and
I think
we
so
watched.
sweet.
you sent me pictures of those, Jenna. Are you okay if I post those in this episode?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, she sent me pictures
That's
of
so
yeah.
cool. Oh my god.
I mean, how often do you find snow globes anywhere?
I can say I never have in my
yeah.
life.
Yeah,
No.
like
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
side of the road.
That was perfect. It's a perfect condition. I was looking at it today, and there's like no sticker on it. There's no to even say like Hallmark or
Maybe China.
no Made in China sticker even. Yeah, it was like snow globe with the word love and gold inside of it.
Wow.
That's
That's pretty
beautiful.
awesome. That's
So
a beautiful story.
cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you, Miss Jenna. I miss you so much. When are you going to get on a plane and come visit?
Yes.
Are you going to? I said when.
I thought you just said you would.
No, I'm over here.
She doesn't fly. She doesn't get on planes.
I know Jenna doesn't like to either.
Oh, you guys meet halfway.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Well,
that's
I'll
how.
do it.
Well, when they ended up in Vegas, we saw each other at Brooklyn Bowl at
Oh,
the
I
Jane's
love
show.
that place. Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
Yep.
I
They
think.
make. Well, I didn't know.
I think you were
They
there
also
that
have
night.
the best milkshakes in all of Las Vegas at the Brooklyn Bowl. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
And me and Gina got on the bathroom floor together that night.
We did. We did. Me and Jenna were on the bathroom floor.
Why?
Puking?
What were you doing?
We got on the bathroom floor to take a picture of our tattoos.
Which one with tattoos?
Her
Todd.
tattoo
Uh-huh.
and my Dave tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you have a Todd tattoo?
Yeah.
A picture of him?
Yeah, we both do. Her and I both
She
do.
has Todd's face, Dave's face, just
You have
not me and
Todd
Jessica.
Dave's face?
And they're making out. It's so wild.
Wow. And she goes like this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, get it.
Todd's kind of looking down at Dave like,
So good. That's so good.
Wow.
yeah, so that was a fun night. But
Oh, I'm sorry about your mom.
well,
Oh, thanks.
What
This
was
was-
her name? Or what's her name?
Jean Moore.
Jean.
It's my mom's middle name.
That's my grandma's middle name.
Really?
Betty Jean.
You two have too much in common.
Oh man. Okay. Well, thank you, Jenna. Thank you so much for staying awake because I know you guys are in a totally different time zone,
Yes.
and it's like, you know,
Love you guys.
I don't know what time it is
I'm
over there, but it's late.
out.
And I love the way they talk.
Yeah.
I
know.
love
I could
it.
listen to her
I
all the
know.
time. All right. Well, we will talk to you soon, and
Okay.
yeah, I miss you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Harrop.
Harrop.
I needed this Harrop. Come here.
You know what I've started? What I've taken on? I'm gonna go nip to the kitchen real quick.
Nips.
Yeah, I'm gonna nip up to the kitchen real quick.
What the hell's that?
You're just
Because
gonna go there real fast.
ask your mom. Ask your mom about it
Nip?
because it's like a UK thing.
Oh,
It's in the books.
Oh, I gotta make a
Savannah
gift.
was raised here, and she says y'all all the time, and I don't know where she got it from or anything, but
I
she's
say y'all
always
a little
y'all.
bit.
Yeah,
It's fun.
she's always y'all.
Who has time to say you all? I got places to be. No, I don't. But
I mean, I used to say fixin' all the time. I'm
Fixin'?
fixin'. I'm fixin' to be 14. I had a really thick like East Texas accent.
and she's been saying that for years. Fixing to be 14 for years.
14. I just mean that's how I talked when I was 13.
Yeah.
When I was younger.
Fixing to be 14 here pretty
Gotta
soon.
go tend to the cattle.
Oh my god, I'm gonna take that though. I think that's cuter. Like oh, I'm gonna be 53. No, I'm fixing
I'm
to be
fixing to be
53. So
We gotta make sure that you watch the rest of those episodes. By the way,
I will now. Yeah.
The first one to
oh,
me is that's the near death one. That was the one that was the most amazing. And then the reincarnation, the kid.
yes,
The kid who used to be he remembers when he died as a pilot in like
Oh,
World War
okay.
II.
Now
I
I need
I
to
don't
watch.
remember.
think it's
that
episode
one.
6. That was like
I don't think I watched it.
I have always thought that reincarnation was like absolute bullshit, complete bullshit. But you hear certain stories, but that one kid, he's like, I don't know, 5 years old, and he remembered, I mean, it's not really a big spoiler, but he remembers crashing in a plane. He knew what his name was, and his dad thought he was just like active imagination until he kept giving these details and how like it made him really sad that he died, but he remembered all of it. So his dad starts investigating like history books and can't find the name that the son's talking about, but he finds the plane crash and he looks at people who were in that like battalion or whatever it was. He gets a hold of one of the soldiers who was there for the crash
Oh my god.
and calls him on the phone and says, "Do you know of a guy named this?" He goes, "Yeah, that was one of my best friends. He died in the crash. He was the pilot of the plane that crashed." That was the first time the dad had been able to
I
actually
didn't
put
see
it.
that episode.
That's so crazy
Oh,
that you
yeah,
say
because
that.
I was so
Oh my god!
I could watch episode 4. Yeah, please watch episode 4. I watch it over and over again, and I cry and bawl every time. So
Yeah.
I couldn't get past that
The
one.
reincarnation one, I mean, and like this dad who like he was like refused to believe it, but his son, he loved his son, and his son was so adamant as a little boy that the dad's like, I have no doubt in my mind that my son died as a World War II pilot, and this is who he was.
So okay, it's so crazy that you say that.
I'm sorry. Is he the one who they bring him to like meet them? That's a different one. That's a different one.
There's because I don't know if it was on that episode, but there's one where in India where a girl comes back and she's adamant, like, and again, like 3, 4, 5 years old, so much so that she's giving details about family members and that she has a sister, and they actually meet the family, and the family, she knows so much. Is that one on there? I don't know where I've saw that one, but. Yeah, and
there's a lot of these stories that seems to be something to it.
So much detail. Yeah, and they know the names, nicknames of the family members, like all this stuff that it's just crazy. Yeah.
So before my dad died, he died in June, but in February, the February prior, he was hospitalized for I want to say like a week. And so when he was in the hospital, I was in there with him, and he was on all kinds of medication, and he told me, hey, do you know how I got here? And I was like, do I know how you got where? I'm like, you're in the hospital. He's like, my plane crashed out there. And I said, out where? And he was pointing out the window to the parking lot. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, my plane, it crashed out there, and they brought me in here because I was in a plane crash. And I said, okay, like, all right. So then my mom got there, and he described the whole inside, like the whole cockpit of this plane that he said that he crashed in the parking lot, and that's why he thought he was in the hospital. Yeah, it was so strange.
Did he have any kind of like dementia stuff towards the end, or any kind of stuff like that?
He was only 60.
Wild.
Yeah. He had kidney cancer, and then it spread to his lungs. And at one point they thought, after like he was, saying these things, maybe it had spread to his brain. But I think by that point he was already, like, it wasn't worth finding out. But that just always stuck with me, the way that he described, like, it was like a World War II, like a fighter jet that he described.
Wow.
Yeah. And he swore that, like, my plane crashed right here. And I remember he wanted me to take him outside so he could smoke a cigarette. And so he had me put him in a wheelchair. I took him out, like wheeled him out to the front of the hospital. And he said, right there, that's where it crashed, right there.
Whoa.
Did he know who you were?
He did. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He never went through like not recognizing anybody.
He never questioned like who you were because you weren't the person. And
no, never. And when
it's almost like two souls living in one body.
Yeah. And then when my grandma passed away, she passed away in 2001, the day before she passed away, I had gone to see her. And she said to me, Nono came to see me last night. I said, who? And she said, no, he came to see me last night, and he told me that it's time to come home. And I was like, okay, all right. So she died the next day. And so it wasn't until, I don't know, probably a year later, I told my dad the story, and it was her dad that she was talking about. That's what she referred to her dad as, because I believe that that's grandfather in Italian. And that's what she called her dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think people come because my grandma would always, when she started going downhill, like started towards the end, she would always tell us that my grandpa, because he died 6 years prior to her, that he was standing in the corner. She'd always say, like, oh, yeah, Grandpa came and visited me last night, or Grandpa was here, that he was always standing by her bed. And she seemed at peace by the time she left.
My mom was, before my little brother was born, my mom had another pregnancy. And she was, I was probably 12. And she was 5 or 6 months pregnant. God. And she had a dream where her grandmother just like came into a room where my mom was and said, like, it's okay. Like, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you. And so my mom didn't understand it. And she goes, no. And she was like, we have you. Like, we'll take care of you. So my mom woke up and thought that she was going to die. She was sure that like it meant that she was going to die. And the next day she started having pains, and we found out that she had miscarried. Would have been my little brother. So her grandmother, before any of us knew, came and said, like, basically, we'll take care of him. Like, we got him.
Oh, wow.
And that's like, that was her first inkling that something may have been wrong with either her or the baby.
Yeah.
But it took a couple days before she actually miscarried.
Right.
So it's weird. There's weird stuff. And that could have been, maybe it was her body knowing and gave her a dream to calm her down. Who knows? But
yeah, but I mean,
there's stuff.
Happen.
My one of my aunts that died, my mom's sister, like years ago. I don't know how, like 18 years ago, and they were all Jehovah's Witnesses. So I wanted to go see her. She had brain cancer, and she was gonna die like in a month. They said they gave her a month, and I pulled up in front of her house, and I lived in Chicago, but I saw a bunch of Jehovah's Witness people, like their cars were all there, and I was like, fuck, I can't go inside. This sucks. Like, so I sat in my car and I waited, and I took off, and I had called my mom, and my mom said, oh, Vicky was having, this was like, I went back to Chicago, like I drove back, and she said, Vicky was having this crazy dream because my mom was taking care of my aunt, and she said that you were outside, and I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, and my aunt was in a hospice bed. She wasn't outside. She couldn't, even if she was, she couldn't see me. Like, there's no, and she, my mom said, yeah, all of a sudden she woke up a little bit and said, Heidi's here. And my mom's like, no, Heidi's in Chicago. And my Aunt Vicky was like, no, she's here. She's here. She like knew I was fucking outside. How is that pop? Like, that's, how is that? Anyhow, that freaked me out because I was like, I was outside.
Yeah,
It's
no,
weird.
I mean, yeah, things happen. It's, yeah, the older I get, the more I think I don't know if I'm like opening up to the fact that maybe there's something to all of this.
Also, every day we're getting closer to the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe we also start thinking like, I sure do wish there's something after this because I'm not ready to go yet.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I always wonder like what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
Something
Well,
to think about.
yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
No, thanks
I
for
mean,
coming.
I
Thanks
think
for coming.
hey, anytime. I live here, but I think we always enjoy doing shows with you guys. I'll let you finish up. Take it away, Shannon.
Go ahead. It's all yours.
Hey, anytime you want us here, we're happy to.
I didn't know you.
I'm happy to walk from the one room to the other anytime you want to do a show here.
That's why I don't close anything. That's why I just stay quiet. I'm like,
I tell you, the majority of the shows, she's like, "Thank you so much for coming." Like, she's interviewed me the whole podcast. I'm like, we're doing this together. Remember? Like,
Unbelievable.
I'm not your guest.
Wait, are you guys in the same room when you record?
Yeah, we're sitting right across from each other. She's like, "Thank you so
And by the way-
much for coming."
And they're at her house. They're at Gina's house. What she just did here. This woman's a psychopath. Surviving Shannon is the name of this episode. Surviving Romo.
I never know how to end anything. I don't know how to say goodbye.
It's kind of a beautiful feature. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What was the thing I called that your dad made?
Malcolm Felinium.
Malcolm
Jesus
Felinium.
Christ, the Millennium Falcon.
I told him I wanted to go get all matching tattoos of the Malcolm Felinium.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, I think we
That
should
was
do
the
it. Dan
funniest
said,
thing.
Dan said no.
Unbelievable.
But he wasn't there that night.
Yeah, it's not part of me.
Let's do it.
I've heard about it after the fact.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah,
Malcolm
Malcolm
Felinium,
Felinium.
for
it was the
Christ's
funniest
sake.
shit because it just flowed right out of her mouth. So we both went, "What? The what?"
See, Malcolm is a normal name.
I'm surprised I even caught it.
Where does Felinium in the world? It's not Norwegian, but what is Felinium? What would it be?
Felinium.
It's not Greek. What would it be? Felinium.
It sounds
Perineum. It sounds Latin.
It's like an Egyptian or something.
Philinium.
Philinium.
It sounds like phlegm.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Wow.
I was just saying I understand. I get you.
I know every time.
We get called out a lot on our podcast.
Every time I watch Reform Radio, though, I'm like, oh my God, I would totally have said it that way. Oh my gosh, there's Heidi. She speaks just like me. Thank you.
Except you say, you know, when like someone who's like not from here, or like how you say things the way people that aren't from here say them. You know what I mean? Like you're in the middle of learning English is what you're like.
Como se dice milk and philanium.
Like it's not bad. I know what you're saying, but you're not quite there yet. But you'll get there, I think.
Como se dice higher up.
You're gonna find out I'm an alien.
I love it.
Yeah.
Please.
This is it. You've always been in contact, Dan. We're watching.
Oh, I'm dialed in. I'm hired up.
You're hired up.
That's why your dad knows all those things. That's why
he's the lead.
He created
He's
all
the head.
all of it.
He's the
Hey,
head.
it's a hybrid.
He's the
All the ships, the
head-
mothership.
head
He
honcho.
created it.
Good
him,
shit.
him and another guy. Another guy kind of came up with the concept, but my dad
Yeah.
did all the designs.
So I didn't know until the other day that your dad made the Ninja Turtles toys, which I
He-
purchased as a child, and I'm a Ninja Turtles fanatic.
I
But
will see if I have some in my garage. I think I might have some still in packages in my garage.
more stuff in here.
I'll check it out.
No, don't. I'll get in trouble.
I got.
I don't have a wife that like gives me shit for getting stuff, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of crap.
It does come to a certain point. When
Yeah.
It's got to stop.
Just like this show.
And on that note, we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys for having us. Love you
Yes.
both.
Bye.
Bye.